Oh,
36?
we're live. I guess we need to move on.
Brandon's 36.
I was 36 once.
Brandon's a young boy.
Oh,
Oh, I like today.
Oh,
happy
I don't know about
fall.
where you guys are, but today the weather
I know it's
outside
afternoon where y'all are, but
is
that
like
good morning
yeah.
in multiple languages.
So like I got up this morning and it was like 52 degrees outside. Oh, still my beating heart.
Yeah, here it's in the 50s, but also with 50-mile-per-hour winds.
It is windy here today. Yeah.
So
Well, isn't
I
it,
thought Lizzie was going to blow away when I was walking her.
isn't like that? Isn't it supposed to be windy where you are, Brandon? I mean,
I don't know.
you know, don't they call like St. Louis? Isn't St. Louis the windy city?
No, that's Chicago. Chicago's the windy city, right?
Chicago's the windy city.
I don't
Yeah.
know these things.
Philadelphia is the city of brotherly love.
Yeah.
I don't know all of them, but
Well,
anyway.
doesn't St. Louis have like the giant like arch thingy or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gateway to the West.
Yeah.
Oh,
I guess the wind just whips through that gateway. I don't know.
Is Murphy one of your people? Brandon?
Murphy, yes. Oh yeah. I was just watching your video, Murphy. I had to cut it off short. They were talking they were talking nonsense basically, but they were talking with Victor this morning. He was their surprise guest.
Who's surprise guest?
Murphy. Every Monday they go, he says they got canceled. I don't believe that.
Who got canceled?
Murphy says they got canceled.
Oh, how did you get canceled?
He's probably not serious. I don't know.
Murphy, if you come on our evening show, I'll bring you on and you can talk.
Well, he lives in Turkey, so the time difference. I'm not sure that would work for him. I don't know.
Oh gosh, okay. That's it. Okay, well, Brandon, it's your show. Go for it.
So, I've been watching a lot of queer stuff lately. Probably more than usual, I guess. Since it's Halloween, I was looking specifically at some queer horror movies. And I also was looking at some LGBTQ history movies because this month, October, is LGBTQ History Month. Which, by the way, I read was started by someone in Missouri, which I found interesting. So I have a little connection there, I guess, in a way. But what's kind of funny is some of the queer history movies are more horrible than the horror movies. You know, they're the ones based on true stories are more of a horror than the fictional horror movies. I wrote an article about Matthew Shepard that I published last week on both the Medium and Substack. It got boosted on Medium, so that was good. That's the first boost I've had in quite a long time. But so along with that, I watched. There was the Matthew Shepard story, which was I think in 2002 or somewhere around there. I think it was 2002, and then the Laramie Project, which was also in 2002.
Right.
And then there was one called the Matthew Shepard Story, An American Hate Crime, which was produced just a couple of years ago. It was on the 25th anniversary of of his murder.
Right.
Those were very hard to watch. I've always felt kind of a connection to Matthew Shepard in a way, because I was growing up around the same time that he was, and finding out about that and everything. I was still in the closet at the time, and even if I had thought about coming out, hearing something like that, just, it's like, well, why would I want to come out? Because he lived in Wyoming, I lived in Missouri, but we were still both in a rural, small town kind of area, and I always thought that could have been me, you know, easily, if I had just run into the wrong person, been at the wrong place at the wrong time, that kind of thing. And so watching it, especially the documentary, was a lot more impactful for me. Um, the sorry, I needed to put my phone on silent. Um, so the first one that I watched was um the documentary, I guess,
Right.
and it was very impactful. Hearing, because you get to hear the transcript from the investigator questioning Aaron McKinney, and what, you know in his words and everything, no dramatization or anything like that. And they interviewed a couple of Matthew's friends and showed pictures of him after they found him,
Right.
and it was pretty horrible. I watched the Laramie Project, which it was a dramatization of a documentary. It had a bunch of stars in it, like Steve Buscemi, Laura Linney, Christina Ricci, uh, Cameron Manheim. It was full of all kinds of different stars. And I don't know if I didn't read up on, I should have looked to see if they did it uh, for lesser pay or anything like that. Because to have as many stars as they had on that movie, I would think, it would have had to either been a huge budget, or the actors took a cut in pay to do the movie because of because of what it was, because of that cause. But I don't know for sure what it was. Anyway, so for me, that movie was not as impactful because I was a little distracted by the amount of stars in it. I knew it was harder for me to take it seriously, if that makes sense. It was harder for me to believe it, because I knew I was very familiar with all the actors. But it was still impactful, but for me, not as much so as the documentary, hearing and seeing the real footage. And have either of you seen any or all three of those
I
movies?
haven't seen any of them.
Okay.
I've seen those, and I consider, so I have like my top 5 that are the top 5 that I immediately lean into, and they're older, so that creates a problem because, for one, like, people think gay cinema starts with Brokeback Mountain.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And so my issue with the stuff around Matthew Shepard is I've watched it, and and the movie about Brandon Tina, Boys Don't Cry. I can't
yeah,
watch either of those movies again. Um, Boys Don't Cry. There's gore and jump scare movies that I will watch over watching Boys Don't Cry because that movie is so painful to watch.
Yeah.
But to understand trans violence, as much as you understand gay violence from the Matthew Shepard media, Brandon Tina's story will clearly explain to you why it is that people like me and Miranda are afraid, because in the wrong place we could get killed.
right.
But like I said, though, but like from a gay cinema perspective, so I'm just going to tell you, everybody needs to watch Rocky Horror.
Oh,
Who's never watched that? If you've never watched Rocky Horror Picture Show, listen to what I'm telling you right now. Stop everything you're doing in the middle of your workday and go and watch that movie right now.
Yeah. I've seen some criticism recently. It's mostly from, younger people who didn't live through that time with us, but um about some of the language used in Rocky Horror to describe the trans experience.
Yeah.
And that was the language of the time
yeah,
and considered, a progressive take for that era.
yeah.
And so,
So there's a Liza Minnelli movie called Cabaret, which came out in '72. Watch that movie. That movie, and that's like Berlin's decadent, open lifestyle. That movie, it's a great movie, but there's some language in that movie that is very difficult. And then two, the other early era film. Well, there's Midnight Express, but I'm not. And Paris is Burning. The problem with Paris is Burning is um, that movie um, is like Boys on Cry. It's hard to watch. Is The Crying Game. There's some language in The Crying Game that's not sensitive, and so younger people who were not from that time, they can understand it.
Yeah.
Um,
So 3 years ago, I had never seen Rocky Horror, and a friend of mine, um, she couldn't believe it. Yeah, I know, I know. That's the same thing she said. She was like, "I can't believe you've never." So we went and saw. There in Kansas City every year they put on a live Rocky Horror Picture Show, and we went and saw that. So that was my first experience with Rocky Horror, seeing the live performance, and it was great. It was a lot of fun, and they gave us props um, to participate at certain points throughout the show and stuff like
because you
that.
were a
And
virgin to the show.
yeah, yeah. So then they also had a Rocky Horror pop-up bar, and so you go to this little bar, and it was all Rocky Horror themed, and they had the movie playing and everything. So we went to that and had a drink, and the servers were dressed in um, garb that was reminiscent of the movie, and so we watched while we were sitting there. We watched the movie. So that was my first experience actually watching the movie. Was in the bar there in the background, but then I watched it again later because being in the bar and people around, you can't really focus on and get into it. So
The bar wasn't quiet for the movie.
not exactly. I mean, it was just a small pop-up bar, kind of a basement bar, but it was really cool. They did it up really, really, really nice. But yeah, I then watched it later, and it was a lot of fun. And then I went back the following year uh, to the play, the live performance again, just to see because they had a different actor playing Rocky this time, and it was an actor from New York that had come down and just for that performance or something like that. But it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a lot. But yeah, I could see what you're saying about the language and everything in the film. And I've seen others. So in my rabbit hole of queer horrors, I came across one called Curse of the Queer Wolf.
Yes.
And I told you about that, Wendy, I think.
Uh-huh.
And did you watch it?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So this is from 1988. So you can kind of imagine that it's very similar as far as the problematic language and things that they use. I mean, it was ridiculous. I mean, the misogyny in it, which is very common with movies from the 80s. I was like the man and his wife. The guy would go out to a bar and stuff, and the wife was like, "Where have you been?" It's like none of your business, So he was going to a strip club with his buddy and everything, and that was supposed to be completely fine. He didn't have to explain to his wife what was going on and that kind of thing. But besides all that, then there was the queer side of it, the queer wolf. So, what did you think of the movie, Wendy? I'm curious before I speak on it all to
So
hear what you're saying.
here's the thing. There's a later film. I watched that movie, and having had watched it, there's a Toni Collette movie that came out in 2018 that I immediately thought of after watching that, and so I had to rewatch it. And that movie is Hereditary, which if you
I haven't seen. I put that on my list to watch because a lot of people have been talking about that, and I haven't seen it yet.
yeah, you really, but that movie Hereditary it's a painful. I'm going to warn you, it's a painful watch.
Mm.
But that Hereditary is that's I'll just put it this way. That's family horror centered on feminine bodies and inherited trauma. That's the only way to explain that movie. And it's hard. It's really hard. Hi Onyx. Thank you for coming. So if you watch Hereditary, I definitely want to hear your opinion.
Yeah. So, Curse of the Queer Wolf, though, is a comedy horror,
Yeah,
very much focused on the comedy aspect of it.
yeah, yeah. But
But it
yeah,
was,
I watched it. I found it entertaining. I mean, there's 80s movies that are trans erotic and homoerotic, even in places that I've seen before. That I mean, there's James Woods. I mean, he's a piece of shit, and nobody should like him. But there's a movie he did in the 80s called Videodrome. There's a shit ton of homoeroticism and transeroticism that happens in that movie. Likewise is the Lynch movie Mulholland Drive, which if you've never seen that, you should watch that film.
I've heard of that, but I haven't seen it.
Oh, I I can give you a list, but really, Mulholland Drive, Hereditary, and um, uh, if you've never watched The Crying Game, you should watch it. And then there's a trans sex workers movie called Tangerine. You should watch that.
If I haven't seen that, I've at least that title sounds familiar. I don't
Yeah.
remember if I've
Yeah.
seen it or not, though.
Yeah, Tangerine is a real good one. But let me ask. Well, Randy, you should talk to this. You've seen the Birdcage, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Brandon. What?
Wow.
I know.
That's a surprise.
I know.
Oh.
I know. It's one.
Birdcage is,
Yeah,
Miranda, explain to Brandon why the Birdcage is happening right now.
Oh yeah. So like the premise of the movie is that this gay couple has to host homophobes and try to like play it straight. And they are the most, but naturally they're like the most flamboyant people. And so there's just like a constant stream of comedy of errors sort of stuff. And it's really well done. Stars Robin Williams. And yeah, you should definitely
yeah.
see that.
I know. I've heard about it, and it. I I don't watch a lot of older movies usually. I try to keep up with whatever's popular now. What's the
I don't keep
trending
up with
movies and stuff
anything.
like that.
Oh
So
gosh,
it's like,
I never realized John Wayne walked like that. See, here's what happens. Nathan Lane and Robin Williams are the gay couple.
right.
They just try to play it straight. Well, halfway through the movie, Nathan Lane says, "Fuck this," and he goes full mom drag. And Gene Hackman and Diane Weiss play the conservative couple. And they show up and they completely buy that Nathan Lane is a woman. So for the whole movie, Gene Hackman is like, "You're such an amazing conservative woman," talking to Lane's character, and it's just a gas. It's a complete gas. Oh, that movie.
Yes, I know. I need to watch it sometime. I just haven't gotten around to doing it. There's sometimes I'm in the mood to watch a movie, and I'll look at titles and I'll be like, "Yeah, I want to watch that sometime," but I'm not really in the mood this time.
Right. Yeah. It's not
There's
right
certain
now.
movies.
Not right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. It may be. I'll put it on my list, but I don't know when I'll get to it.
I would say The Birdcage is one of one of three of my viscerally most favorite drag queen ever.
Well, speaking of drag queen movies, I watched a movie called Slay.
Oh,
Have you seen that?
of course.
It just came out last year, I think, or not very long ago. But
Crystal Method is in that.
oh yeah, I saw that name.
Yeah, Trinity the Tuck and Crystal Method are both in it, and they are hysterical. Okay, so if you watch that movie, go watch the Bianca Del Rio movie, Hurricane Bianca.
Hurricane Bianca.
Yeah, yes.
I'm having to write these down because I can't remember anything.
Yeah. Hurricane Bianca. That's Bianca Del Rio, Roy Haylock. And the funny thing about it is that there's a handful of SNL characters that are in it, and it's a hysterical film.
Mm.
I'm not so much of a fan of the fact that RuPaul is in it, but I'll let that go.
So talking about trauma, since that's
Oh, we
kind of
had to get back to trauma.
I mean,
Yeah,
I know you talked about Boys Don't Cry, and for me, the Matthew Shepard ones. Well, watching the documentary was the worst one for me. Watching the actors, not quite as bad. I did really hesitate on the Matthew Shepard story, the fictionalized one from 2002 with Sam Waterston and um oh, what's her name? Rizzo, the one who played Rizzo in Grease, Stalker Channing.
Stalker to Janet.
Yeah, I really didn't want to watch that because I thought they're going to depict what actually happened to him and everything. They're going to show, I know it's fictional, but showing what they did to him and everything. I know that was really going to bother me, and I really didn't want to watch it. So that's the last one that I watched out of those three, just because of that. Um, but yeah, that's those kinds of things are really difficult for me to watch because I tend to really get into movies and try to believe that they're real, because I want to get lost in the story and
suspend your
get it
disbelief.
right, right. And in that case, I don't want that. You know, I have
Yeah,
to keep in those kinds of movies. I keep reminding myself that this is an actor. This is but but I know that it's based on something that really happened. So it's really hard to do it in that case. Yes, these are actors, but this did happen. So it's it's really hard to separate that. But I don't know. Are there movies,
Oh yes,
Miranda? Since we haven't
yes.
heard this one.
yeah. So I'm the worst at movie titles. But I have a habit of like I routinely stay up uh later at night than my wife. She's the one with the day job. So like um so like she'll go to sleep and I'll sit in bed and do social media and all that bullshit and uh, pull up Tubi
Oh yeah.
because it has just the most random catalog of movies.
Oh yes.
So lately I've been watching um more like lesbian and sapphic movies and um it like a lot of them, well, I guess there's kind of like two main categories that I keep running into. One of them is the like high school age, discovering who you are kind of stuff. A lot of those are very much like, I think a man wrote and directed this because it's like very voyeuristic and
Yeah, yeah.
icky and all that.
But I'm a
Um,
cheerleader.
yeah. Then like the other set, it's a lot of like you have a character who was married to a man for a long time because of compet or compulsory heterosexuality. Um, and then she ends up falling in love with a woman, and like it becomes, there's all this conflict about her having been previously married to a man and like the all of the, I guess, like leftovers from her living as a straight person, and the conflict between that and like her falling in love and having this romance. Um, so a lot of those like really roller coaster between these sweet, intimate, sapphic moments and um and then like the trauma that the character is dealing with. And like as a trans woman who came out later in life, um there's a lot to relate to in those like those movies. Um but in my case, like I was the man whom my wife married, and played this like masculine role, and this like I'm the father, I'm the husband, I'm like all these different things, and then came out, and um there's a lot of like I'm fortunate in that um my wife and I have stayed together after me coming out as trans. Um, that's one of those things where like sometimes that happens and sometimes it doesn't.
Right.
Um, and it's good and we love each other like more than ever. But also, there's a lot of like dealing with the trauma of um me having pretended for so long and learning how to um like love her as a woman and her learning how to love me as a woman. And yeah,
So,
so like that's like the movie vibe I've been in a lot recently, and I have no specific sports. I'm sorry.
oh, that's all right.
Yeah.
So does watching those kind of movies, is that difficult to do to that? I mean, does it cause you to like relive any trauma associated with it, or is it helpful to kind of play it out in your mind?
It's it's both, and like it's very mood dependent. Um and there's ones where like the the like protagonist in the movie um lost her husband because he died in the war, or like they already divorced or whatever. And then there are ones where it's like more like affair based self discovery. And so they kind of have different vibes based on that. And then like what my emotional state is going into it, like sometimes it is um it it brings up old memories that are um traumas that I need to process, and other times it's um cathartic and in more of like a victorious way of like, yes, leave that toxic fucker behind, and you know go go get this woman that you're in love with. And yeah, so it does all the things.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen a lot of, especially on Tubi, a lot of uh, gay queer movies that a lot of them are, you can tell they're just made as an excuse to show some uh, male on male sex scenes
Yeah,
and stuff like that, show
right,
some
yeah.
nudity or whatever. But I've seen a few that are more, well, there's one called, I think it was called Fireworks, about two uh, young guys in, I don't remember what it was. It was in another country, but because I think there were subtitles on that one, or it was dubbed. Um, but it was not sexually charged movie, I would say. But it was really good, and it was very sad also. I didn't realize at the end, how if a movie's based on a true story, they'll give some information at the end what happened or whatever. And afterward, it did that, and I was like, oh, I didn't know this was a true story, which made it even more impactful. And it's just sometimes it's very sad. I mean, I don't think it doesn't ever bring me into a depression, but it does make me, it makes me feel bad, makes me feel sad about things, uh, I don't want to give spoilers to too many movies, but tragedies that happen just because somebody's gay, if they
Yeah.
grew up in the wrong community or family or the culture around them, and there's nothing they can do to escape it, basically.
So there's a
So
film that came out.
Onyx
Oh,
said something in chat a moment ago. I wanted to point out. It makes me sad and wistful that I did not get my teenage years or my 20s. Like, yeah, sometimes those movies will
Yeah,
make me think about that too. Um, is it, it's like, yeah, I could
we
have
could have.
had
Yes.
all of the regret cycle stuff.
That's one thing that Love, Simon did for me. That was such a good movie. I thought I really enjoyed it, but just seeing he was able to come out to his parents and they were supportive and everything. And he had a little trouble in school and stuff, but he still was able to, people kind of rallied around him and tried to set him up with somebody that he liked and everything. And I cried a lot at that one, partly because I thought, I wish I would have had that. I wish I could have experienced that when I was young and not have to go through things that I had to go through, the homophobia and things, and being not feeling like I could come out to anybody, my family, and things like that. So sometimes those movies, even though they are heartwarming and positive in a general sense, they make me sad because
Yeah, it's like this is the
they're what
thing
I
I don't
didn't
have
have.
or didn't
Yeah,
have, and
yeah,
yeah.
yes.
so there's a film that came out in 2012, Brandon, and I think if you watched it, you would have a growth moment. However, I will preface this by saying that while you would maybe experience growth by watching it, it would probably be the most emotional gay film you will ever have watched in your life. So let me ask you a question. Brokeback Mountain. You've watched that
Oh,
movie.
yeah.
Yeah. Did you cry at the end?
I'm sure I did. I mean, it's been several years since I watched
Okay.
it, but
So
yeah.
in 2012, there was a movie that came out called Keep the Lights On.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that title.
And if you've never watched that movie before, here's why. It focuses on a relationship, but it focuses on a relationship that goes exactly the wrong way. And I won't say anything more about it, but what I know about you as a person, you should consider it at least. Um, it won't be easy, but you should consider it.
Yeah, and some of these it depends on, like Miranda was saying, it depends on the mood. If I'm already feeling kind of down or whatever, then it's not one that I'm probably going to watch because I know that that's
Right.
only going to perpetuate those kinds of feelings. But if I feel stable enough, I guess,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
So I feel like I can handle it,
If you wake up at a 10 and you get to
Yeah.
the midpoint of the day and you're still at a 10, I would risk it then. I wouldn't
Yeah.
do it for any less than that.
Yeah.
Brandon's always at 10.
I would like to say that that's true.
Well, I definitely want to believe that's true. I don't know that it always is the case.
Yeah.
I don't know that it is always the case.
Let's see. Where else was I gonna? Oh, there are a lot of the queer horror ones that I've seen tend to be on the comedic side. The comedy horror focus more on the comedy. I saw one recently called Swallowed.
Oh, yes.
Have you heard of?
Yes.
Have you watched that?
I haven't watched it. I've heard about it.
I think
Have you
I've
seen it,
watched
Miranda?
that one. I think so. Oh, if you give us some plot points, I'll figure it out.
So the main two characters are gay, and so based on the title, you kind of have at least I had kind of um, a preconception of what the word of the title "swallowed" meant, but it is not what you think. Is because they're transporting this illegal substance, I'll say, by putting it in a bullet.
Yeah.
If you're not familiar what a bullet is, when you put drugs in a plastic or rubber and tie it and swallow it, and then later expel it in order to transport it across borders and things like that. I do not know this from experience, so just to put that out there.
Wow, Brandon, you've never been a drug mule? Okay.
I have not.
If you say so.
Okay.
But that's the premise of this, and they find out that the substance is not what they thought it was, and some of it's kind of disturbing. I mean, I guess it wasn't a mainstream movie as far as I know. I had never heard of it, but it was well done. The actors are really good in it. It stars Cooper Koch, who played Eric Menendez in the Lyle and Menendez story, the Monsters series, the Netflix series. He was nominated for several.
Jenna Malone was in that.
Yeah.
Is in the Swallowed movie.
Yeah. Cooper Koch is a great actor. He's gay. He's played in a few other gay films.
Well, he was in, I think, They Them.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I saw that, but
well, They Them is that's a queer slasher film.
Oh, okay, yeah. So
they slashed them.
Yes,
yeah,
slashed them. Yeah,
slashed.
yeah. But it was really he's a great actor. He was nominated for several awards, Emmys and stuff for his role as Eric Menendez, and that was another great series. Ryan Murphy directed that. I thought it was really good. If you haven't watched that, I would recommend watching it. But anyway, Swallowed. I kind of wish they would have chosen a different title for that, because it does kind of, at least for me, it kind of put me in the mindset knowing that the characters were gay and having the title Swallowed. It's like, oh, that sounds almost kind of cheesy, like sexually based or whatever, but it really had nothing to do with that. So I kind of wish they would have done, because I think a lot of movies are like that, where it would have been more popular or people would have watched it if they had chosen a different title.
Right.
And it was it was a good movie as far as if you like horrors, and starring, it had several gay characters in it. So anyway, that was a good one if you really want like a horror type. But Monsters, the Netflix series Monsters was a really good one too.
Right.
A lot of people have this, because they think of the Menendez brothers as monsters and that were horrible people. What they did was horrible and all that. But when you watch the series, it really gives you a different perspective, makes you think about that whole crime and their motivations differently. Whether, I mean, I know it was Hollywood produced, they put their own take on it and everything, but it really makes you think, well, what if all of this had happened? It doesn't make what they did okay, definitely, but it does kind of give you a different glimpse into their lives and who they were, what might have happened to them growing up. I thought it was really well done. Every episode kind of, at least at first, it takes you into different perspectives. It shows you Lyle's perspective, and then Eric's, and then the parents, and so I really like the way he did that. And Ryan Murphy, of course, did the American Horror Story series and uh, Glee. So I think he's done a lot for putting a lot of gay actors and gay characters in the spotlight, which, and his movies and shows have done very well. So I think he's done a good job for the queer community, kind of giving them more of a spotlight,
Well, are
But,
you a Mike Flanagan fan?
what, I don't know, Mike Flanagan.
So Mike Flanagan did the series The Haunting of Hill House.
Oh yeah, I watched that one.
Which that's got much gay.
Yeah,
Through it. If you've never watched The Haunting of Hill House,
that was a good series. I thought it was kind of creepy, and I like suspenseful horror type. I don't like Saw movies or the ones with a lot of blood and gore, but I like the suspenseful horrors, and Haunting of Hill House was a good one.
yeah.
Or no, wait a minute. I'm thinking of Bly Manor, the Haunting of.
Bly Manor was the series he did after that. The Haunting of
Oh,
Hill House.
okay. I haven't seen the Hill House. I've seen
then
Bly
you need to
Manor.
watch it. There's sapphic and gay references all through the entire, and then Flanagan does it again with The Fall of the House of Usher.
Oh yeah.
But the Usher film is very painful our series is very painful to watch.
Well, I watched Bly Manor. It did have two gay characters in it, but
Right.
I haven't. The Hill House is actually on my watch list, so I just haven't gotten to it yet.
Yeah, when you watch that, I want to hear what you thought of it. When you watch that, I want to hear what you thought of it.
Well, I'm gonna have to wrap up pretty soon because I have another live coming at 1:00 my time. So.
I have a hard stop at 2 because I have a meeting.
Oh, okay.
With
So I guess if there's anything you want to wrap up, any final thoughts about queer horrors or entertainment, either of you?
I didn't have
Or I can start if you want to.
I didn't have any other notes. Let me look over.
Well, while you're looking, I'll say my little spiel then. Uh, so the especially when it comes to stories like with Wendy, The Boys Don't Cry, and Matthew Shepard movies with me, I don't feel the need to watch those because I know how horrible it is already.
Yeah.
But I wish that more straight people would watch movies like that. I think more people who are not in the queer community, who are not part of the LGBTQ plus, they need to watch these kinds of things and know what can happen
Right.
Yeah.
to people in the community. Because it really, for me, I know I can put myself in his place. It's very easy for me to do that. But for some people, it's not. They might hear the story on the news or whatever and think it's tragic and whatnot. But I think people need to watch movies like that and see exactly what happens, what could happen, what is still happening in some places.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, enough people went to see Brokeback Mountain that movie typified closet gay life, and in a way that had never really been portrayed before on screen in such a way that dramatically drew people to go and see it. And so, but yeah, I would agree that needs to happen
Yeah.
more. Yes, much more. All right. Well, we got 6 minutes, so who's going on Friday?
Is it my turn or Wendy's turn?
I can't remember. I just know it's not mine.
I'll come up with something for Friday.
Okay. Because if you don't,
And
I mean, here's what's going to happen. You let me know tomorrow.
Okay.
You send me a message to our secure chat space, and you tell me because if you don't, I have a topic we can do it.
oh, I was going to say the same thing. I mean, if all else fails, I do have another topic I'd like to talk about for the next time I do it. So
yeah. So okay, well, I'm good. Miranda, Brandon, final
all
thoughts.
right.
Yep.
Not for me.
Always lovely to do this with y'all.
Yeah, I love every minute of it. Let's
Nobody cried this time, which was a little bit weird, but that's okay.
Yeah, it could have easily happened.
Just, I guarantee you, when I do it next, there's going to be crying.
Well, look forward to that.
Oh yeah. Who's it going to be? Me or you? Anyway, all right, Brandon, go have fun. Thank you, everybody.
All right.
Yep. Checking out.
See you later.
Love you both.